You were not created to sit on the sidelines of life, watching others chase their dreams while you talk about yours. You were designed with power, with potential, and with purpose. But potential means nothing until it is activated. Purpose means nothing until it is pursued. Dreams mean nothing until you take action. The difference between those who wish and those who win is not talent, it's movement. It's the courage to start, even when you don't have all the answers. Every great destiny begins with a decision, the decision to act. You can pray, you can plan, you can prepare, but if you don't take the step, you'll remain in the same place. Action transforms faith into reality. Action turns invisible hopes into visible results. The world doesn't respond to intentions, it responds to motion. You can't wait for perfect timing, because perfection is the enemy of progress. The moment you move, clarity follows. The path becomes visible only when your feet begin to walk it. Action is the bridge between intention and manifestation. Every dream begins as a thought, a vision in the unseen realm of the mind. But thoughts, no matter how powerful, remain powerless until they are expressed through movement. Intention is the seed, but action is the soil, the sunlight, and the water that brings it to life. You can have the best ideas, the strongest faith, and the purest motives, but until you act, nothing changes. The world responds not to what you imagine, but to what you initiate. Too many people live their lives filled with potential energy that is never converted into real progress because they confuse intention with accomplishment. They think wanting something deeply is the same as doing something about it, but the universe only rewards movement. Action is the language of faith. You demonstrate what you believe not by what you say, but by what you do. If you say you want to change your life, but continue living the same way, your actions have exposed your true belief. That change is optional, not essential. Faith without action is daydreaming, and desire without discipline is deception. The moment you take action, you activate unseen forces that align circumstances, people, and opportunities in your favor. Doors begin to open, paths begin to clear, and momentum begins to build. The act of moving forward releases energy that cannot be accessed through thought alone. You must understand that ideas have no power until they are executed. Vision without execution is hallucination. Action transforms what is invisible into what is undeniable. The bridge between where you are and where you want to be will never appear until you take the first step. Even the smallest action carries the power to shift your direction, to break stagnation, and to set divine timing in motion. The universe honors movement because movement is evidence of belief. When you act, you declare to life that you are ready to receive. But this bridge of action is not built in comfort. It is constructed in moments of uncertainty, fear, and resistance. Every step forward tests your commitment, your discipline, and your faith. It challenges you to keep moving when you don't see results, when no one believes in you, when everything seems impossible. That's where true transformation happens. Because action is not about speed, it's about consistency. It's not about how fast you move, it's about how long you endure. One action taken daily is far more powerful than 1,000 intentions spoken and never lived. The mind will always offer excuses. The timing isn't right, you're not ready, it might not work, but none of these thoughts build bridges. Only movement does. Every breakthrough in your life will require you to step into uncertainty, to do what others are afraid to do, and to move even when you don't feel like it. The bridge between your desire and your destiny is built one action at a time. Readiness is an illusion. Move even when you feel unprepared. The idea that there will come a perfect moment when everything aligns, when fear disappears, and when clarity arrives, is one of the greatest deceptions that stops people from living their potential. There is no such thing as the right time, there is only now. The perfect moment is created through motion, not waiting. Waiting for readiness is another form of fear disguised as preparation. It is the mind's way of keeping you safe from discomfort, from risk, and from growth. But growth never happens in safety. It happens when you move before you feel ready, when you step forward despite the uncertainty, when you trust that clarity will come after the decision, not before it. People often say, "I'll start when I'm ready," but readiness doesn't come to you, you grow into it. Every person who has achieved greatness began unprepared. They didn't wait for all the answers, they acted and learned along the way. Progress doesn't require perfection, it requires motion. The first step doesn't have to be big, it just has to be taken. The truth is, fear and doubt never fully go away. You learn to move with them. You learn to act even as your mind tells you not to. Courage is not found in confidence, it's found in movement. Confidence grows from doing, from trying, from failing, and from rising again. The illusion of readiness is one of the mind's most seductive traps. It tells you that waiting a little longer will make things easier, that one more plan, one more idea, one more conversation will make you more prepared. But in reality, waiting breeds hesitation, and hesitation kills momentum. The more you delay, the more your doubts grow roots. Action cuts through uncertainty like light cuts through darkness. It reveals what is possible and exposes what needs to be improved. You can read every book, study every strategy, and prepare every plan, but until you take action, everything remains theory. Knowledge without action is just potential energy collecting dust. Every season of life demands movement, even in imperfection. The greatest lessons are not found in preparation but in participation. When you step out and begin, you begin to see what works, what doesn't, and what you're capable of. Mistakes become your mentors, not your enemies. Every wrong turn teaches you how to find the right one. The most successful people are not those who started perfectly, but those who started anyway. They used their lack of readiness as fuel, their uncertainty as motivation, and their fear as focus. The truth is, the path doesn't reveal itself until you walk it. Life doesn't hand you certainty before commitment, it rewards commitment with clarity. You won't feel ready, but readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. It's the moment you tell yourself that hesitation will no longer control your destiny. Because when you move, you create momentum, and momentum is stronger than fear. Courage is acting despite fear, not without it. Fear is a natural part of every journey that leads to growth, change, or greatness. It's the body's alarm system warning you that you're stepping into something unknown, something beyond your comfort zone. But fear was never meant to stop you, it was meant to sharpen you. Courage is not the absence of that trembling feeling, but the mastery of it. It's choosing to move forward while your mind screams to retreat, while your heart beats faster, while uncertainty clouds your vision. Every person who has accomplished something extraordinary did so with fear still present. They just refused to let it drive their decisions. Fear often disguises itself as logic. It tells you to wait, to plan more, to gather more information before you move. But what it's really saying is, stay safe. Safety may feel comfortable, but it kills potential. The safest life is rarely the fullest life. Every step of faith, every leap of growth, every act of creation requires walking through the shadow of fear. Courage doesn't mean you aren't afraid, it means you've decided that something greater than fear deserves your attention. It means your vision is louder than your doubt, and your purpose stronger than your hesitation. The reason many never move forward is because they misinterpret fear as a stop sign instead of a signal to rise. Fear is not proof that you are weak, it's proof that you're about to do something that matters. You don't need to eliminate fear to move, you need to carry it with you. Courage is the quiet voice that whispers, do it anyway. It's not loud or dramatic, it's steady, disciplined, and relentless. Every time you act in spite of fear, you weaken its control and strengthen your confidence. Confidence is the result of courageous repetition, doing what you're afraid of until fear loses its authority. You can't wait until you feel brave to take action. Bravery is not a feeling that arrives, it's a decision that is made. The strongest people are not those without fear but those who have learned to coexist with it, to feel it without being ruled by it. The truth is, fear will always be present at the doorway of your next level. It guards the path to purpose, daring only the courageous to enter. And the key to passing through is action. Once you step forward, even trembling, fear begins to fade because it cannot survive motion. Every act of courage transforms you. It builds resilience, character, and trust in yourself. You realize that the limits you once believed were fixed were only illusions built by fear. Each time you confront it, you expand the boundaries of what's possible for you. Courage is not a single act but a lifestyle, a commitment to rise every time fear tries to shrink your vision. It's the daily choice to keep moving through the storm, knowing that beyond it lies your strength. Every failure is feedback, not finality. The moment you understand this truth, your entire relationship with setbacks begins to change. Failure was never designed to define you, it was designed to refine you. Each mistake, each disappointment, and each fall carries within it a lesson, a correction, and a direction. Life doesn't use failure to punish you, it uses it to prepare you. When you fail, the universe is not closing a door, it is redirecting you toward the right one. Failure is not a dead end, it's a detour that leads to clarity. Every successful person has walked through the valley of failure because growth demands that you learn what doesn't work before mastering what does. The fear of failure paralyzes more dreams than failure itself ever could. People become so afraid to fall that they never take a step, never try, never move beyond the boundaries of comfort. But avoiding failure is impossible, because to live, to grow, to create, is to risk falling short. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is not that the successful never fail, it's that they keep learning, keep adjusting, and keep moving forward. Every setback becomes data. Every rejection becomes redirection. Every fall becomes fuel. Failure strips away illusion. It shows you your weaknesses, your blind spots, your habits that need correction. It reveals what's not aligned with your purpose. Instead of seeing it as defeat, learn to see it as a divine conversation, a message from life saying, "Not this way. Try again." The person who learns from failure cannot be stopped, because they no longer fear it. They use it as feedback, as a teacher, as a mirror reflecting what needs to change. The process of falling and rising teaches resilience, and resilience becomes the foundation of lasting success. When you stop labeling failure as the end, you start using it as the beginning of wisdom. The moment something doesn't work, your response determines your future. If you choose to see failure as proof that you're not capable, it becomes a cage. But if you choose to see it as a lesson, it becomes a ladder. Every mistake carries information that, when applied, brings you closer to mastery. The world doesn't belong to the people who never fail, it belongs to those who know how to rise every time they do. Failure is the fire that forges strength. It burns away pride, excuses, and self-doubt, leaving behind the raw truth of who you are and what you're capable of. It humbles you, yet it also hardens your resolve. It teaches that progress is not a straight line but a series of climbs and falls, of tests and transformations. The pain of failure refines your vision, your discipline, and your focus. Those who embrace it become unstoppable because they understand that failure is never final, it's simply the feedback that points you toward your next victory. Motion creates momentum, and momentum fuels mastery. The smallest step forward, when repeated with consistency, generates a force that becomes unstoppable over time. Success is rarely the result of massive leaps, it is the outcome of steady movement in a single direction. When you move, even imperfectly, you awaken energy that begins to carry you forward. Momentum is not built overnight, it's built through repetition, discipline, and persistence. The moment you act, you create motion, and that motion begins to gather strength. Like a wheel slowly turning, it may start with resistance, but once it spins, it becomes difficult to stop. Every action compounds, and what once felt impossible becomes inevitable. Many people wait for motivation before taking action, but motivation is fleeting. It depends on emotion, and emotion changes. Momentum, on the other hand, sustains itself. The more you move, the more energy you create. The more energy you create, the more capable you feel. This cycle transforms effort into rhythm, and rhythm into power. You stop needing external encouragement because movement itself becomes your motivation. That's why the hardest part of any journey is the beginning, the push from stillness into motion. But once you take that first step, you begin to generate the energy that propels you toward mastery. Mastery is not about doing something once, it's about doing it until it becomes part of you. Every repetition strengthens your skill, sharpens your focus, and deepens your understanding. The consistent act of showing up, even on days when you feel uninspired or uncertain, builds the foundation that others mistake for talent. Momentum doesn't demand perfection, it demands persistence. When you keep moving, even through difficulty, you train your mind and body to operate beyond resistance. You begin to move from effort into flow, where action becomes natural and excellence becomes your standard. The difference between those who reach greatness and those who remain average is often momentum. Average people stop when it gets hard. Great people push through the resistance until it becomes easier. Every small action contributes to this process: every workout, every study session, every call, every attempt. Over time, these small acts accumulate into strength, into confidence, into unstoppable momentum. The key is not speed, but consistency. A slow, steady pace maintained over time will always outrun bursts of inconsistent effort. Momentum also protects you from stagnation. When you stay in motion, you remain adaptable, creative, and resilient. You become less reactive and more proactive. Life responds to your energy, and when you move forward with purpose, opportunities begin to align with your direction. People notice consistency, and doors open for those who keep going. Motion doesn't just change your external circumstances, it reshapes your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, who endures, who finishes what they start. And as momentum builds, mastery follows, because mastery is nothing more than motion sustained through time with purpose, focus, and unwavering discipline. Life rewards consistent doers, not constant dreamers. Dreaming is easy, but doing requires endurance, focus, and persistence. Many people spend their lives imagining success, visualizing greatness, and talking about their potential, yet they never take the daily actions required to make those dreams real. The world is full of dreamers who never cross the line between imagination and execution because the dream feels safer than the work. But success is not built in the comfort of thought, it's built in the discipline of consistent effort. Every action you take compounds into progress, and every day you show up moves you closer to what you desire. The universe doesn't respond to wishful thinking, it responds to consistent movement in the direction of your purpose. Consistency is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter where you start or how talented you are, what matters is that you don't stop. Small, disciplined actions performed daily will always outperform bursts of inspiration followed by long periods of inaction. Most people lose momentum not because they lack vision, but because they lack consistency. They start strong but fail to sustain the habits that lead to transformation. Consistency is not glamorous. It's quiet, repetitive, and often unnoticed. But it's in that silence that strength is built. Every day you show up, even when no one applauds, even when no one sees, you are laying bricks for your future. Dreamers imagine the destination, doers build the road to get there. It's easy to be inspired for a moment, but true growth requires commitment long after the excitement fades. The difference between temporary motivation and lasting success is discipline. Discipline is choosing to act, even when your emotions tell you otherwise. It's working toward your goal on days when you don't feel ready, when results aren't visible, and when progress feels slow. Because success doesn't come from occasional greatness, it comes from consistent excellence. Consistency transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary results. Every repetition builds skill. Every effort compounds over time. You can't plant a seed and dig it up every few days to check its growth. You have to trust the process, water it daily, and let time do its work. The same is true in life. The rewards come to those who are patient enough to keep doing what's right long enough to see the results. It's not about how quickly you move, it's about how long you can sustain your movement. Constant dreamers chase feelings, consistent doers chase progress. One is ruled by emotion, the other by purpose. When you commit to showing up every day, no matter how small the step, you align your actions with your destiny. Life takes notice of those who refuse to quit. Opportunities open for the persistent. Growth favors the disciplined. The reward is never given to the one who dreams of doing great things, but to the one who wakes up each day and does them.